On today's video, Kingdom 621 went into a civil war as kingdoms out there across Rise of Kingdoms are recruiting new players in. Some allow a few groups in, some allow big groups in, and occasionally one of those big groups might not have the best interest of the current population in the kingdom. In this video, we'll talk about whether or not migrating big groups, small groups, and all that along the way is a good idea, and enjoy some sweet war footage, especially a civil war. So sit back, drop a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today in Kingdom 625, a little bit ago, Lost Temple opened up like it does every week or so, and it was taken out by force. That is right, there is a civil war. Well, there was in 621, and it has to do with migration. Before we start this video though, I am a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdom. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe down below and hit the bell to get a notification every time we upload a new Rise of Kingdoms, I said Kingdom early, video. Tomorrow we'll be streaming 4 p.m. UTC on Wednesday. We do that also on Saturdays, and we pretty much upload content about Rise of Kingdoms every day. In this video, we have a big situation. In the previous season of Civil War, I don't know why I said season, in the previous Civil War video, we talked about what happens when you mistreat migrants. If you haven't seen that yet, card it up on the top right. But this is a bit different. This does have to do with migration, but it was actually the other way around. I want to ask you in the comments down below to let me know in your kingdom, if you're a leader, if you're someone within your kingdom, or just have an opinion about this subject, how did you guys handle migration? Did folks come in as individuals? Did you guys migrate in full kingdoms? Did you guys not migrate anyone at all? Let me know down below, because there is a point to that, and that's the discussion we'll have in this video. In Kingdom 621, my understanding from what happened was that a full big alliance migrated into the kingdom in coordination with the current leadership that was there and all that good stuff. Now, this happened a little bit ago, and I will not pretend like I remember every single small detail, but I remember the overall arching issue that happened there, which is one that is not only happening in 621. I've been hearing about these types of civil wars. Some of them I didn't manage to record. Others were just straight up hostile. We're talking about hostile takeovers of kingdoms. We've been hearing more than once about kingdoms that allowed a full big alliance to come into the kingdom, which resulted in a hostile takeover of the Lost Temple of the kingdom, and essentially made the population that was there previously in the kingdom subjects per se of the new migrants. In this situation, my understanding is that the U alliances were the alliances that were in charge here, and the folks from 621 T and then GD21 joined them too, were kind of took over the kingdom by force. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's exactly what happened. This happened a little bit ago, and to tell you that I remember fully 100% all the details, I do not. So don't go out there saying, oh, these guys are evil or mad or all that stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. But what I do vividly remember is that essentially this was a hostile takeover. And that's a subject that I've been meaning to talk about for a little bit, and I wanted to share with you guys some thoughts, opinions, and have a discussion in the comments below as well. When migration started becoming a thing, of course, there was a huge thing of people moving across, alliances trying to keep their friends together, so folks are migrating in groups, some folks are migrating as individuals. Nowadays, if you're trying to migrate into an Imperium kingdom, and boss used up nature's gift while we're recording, thank you, boss. If you're trying to migrate into an Imperium kingdom, you're essential, and you're not below 35 million power, you're essentially migrating by yourself once a month. If you're below 35 million power nowadays, you can get in there as a group as well, so long as everybody's below 35. And for a while, there were kingdoms that recruited full families, recruited full alliances, recruited groups of 15, 20, 35, 10, 42, 420. I don't know about all that, but still, players that came in as a reinforcement to the kingdom. Now, the one thing you got to realize about migration is that migration shifts the balance of a kingdom no matter how much you prepare for it. In the previous video, when we talked about the civil war in Kingdom 634, this happened backwards in the sense that the current population of 634 took in some migrants and essentially had a little bit of a misunderstanding, we'll call it, on who gets what and how things go. And as a result, the migrants felt a little bit in a bad position. In this case, the migrants are the ones who are actually taking it to the local individuals and really putting a damper on their plans. This takeover of this king of this lost temple is problematic because now the local folks will have a new king that can change the migration cap, which can allow more of their own people in, and so forth and so on. And this can become a really big mess. I've been hearing about this kind of situation happening across kingdoms. I've been hearing of hostile takeovers all over the place. And so I wanted to offer a few pieces of thoughts, opinions, and how I would do things and how things working in Kingdom 59 now as a very big Imperium kingdom that we pretty much are limited only to 35 million and below, and the 1 or 2 people who are coming in once a month. Here's the thing, right? My personal take is that I would prefer to allow in small groups of people into a kingdom and not allow it to exceed the maybe 7 members. I think that when you allow a big clique to come into your kingdom, that clique will forever remain a clique. Which means if you allow 30 people into a kingdom, those 30 people are enough people that they can hold their own, they can entertain themselves, they can pretty much maintain that small circle and really never have to adapt to the new kingdom, to mix in with the current population, to become a local. I think that allowing the migration of smaller groups and then those groups get going as a group, sure, into the different alliances within the kingdom, do allow the folks to have 2-3 friends online when they're online, but it also is not enough that you will have a great time and enjoy and get the most out of your game by just staying with your clique. It kind of forces you to try to become a local, friends with the population that was there, part of the system and all that good stuff, rather than object to the system. Alliances that migrate as an alliance pose a very big threat. Because when you're allowing a big population to come in at once into your kingdom, it might be great because you think now you'll have the warriors you want or the population you want and all that. But I feel like migration is a process where every time more new people come in, you need to influence them in a way for them to adapt into the culture of the current kingdom, but at the same time, they bring in new things from outside, which shift the way your kingdom exists. When you allow a big group to come in at once, that shift can be very big. That clash of cultures can be very big. And I'm not talking cultures as if like nationalities. I'm talking about the fact that, for example, in one kingdom, it is very acceptable that KE is open to everybody in every zone, and killing farmers is allowed, while in another kingdom, killing farmers is not allowed, for example. And now there's going to be a little bit of a clash for a while, and if the group that's coming in is big enough, and they can impose their own will as well, the local leadership are now going to have a tougher time making sure they adapt correctly, as well as the local leadership will have a little bit of a problem creating a little more leeway towards that group, as it'll look bad, essentially. As far as I'm concerned, allowing big alliances, full groups in is a huge risk. I think that most kingdoms have the infrastructure to be able to allow folks to come in from different alliances and kingdoms in small groups, and allow many small groups in that can integrate within the kingdom. And then from there, you can also divide these groups in between the alliances in the kingdom. At the end of the day, if you are allowing migration to be only the top dogs, right? And then the migrants come into the top alliance and all that, What'll happen is what happened in Kingdom 196. 196 was a very, 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 very strong kingdom when Legends Gaming back in the day were essentially in charge and running that show there. The kingdom was so strong that it attracted a huge population of whales and strong players. And the big problem leadership created was that they allowed the big dogs to come in, but the big dogs want to be with the big alliance, right? And then what ended up happening is that players that were part of that kingdom for a very long time, that built that kingdom, that made it an attractive kingdom for whales to come in, were now relegated to secondary and third alliances. Now, of course, Legends Gaming are all about we're a family and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, Legends Gaming 1 had a crazy high gift level. Legends Gaming 2 had a very crazy gift level. But once you started looking at Legends Gaming 3 and Legends Gaming 4, and by the time you got to 5, that gift level went down the drain. And so when you have small groups that can come in, you can actually disperse them among alliances and get to a point where you have multiple alliances that have a decent group of spenders, and you're not essentially telling your own population that helped you build the home to be an attractive home for migrants to come in, and you're not telling them, all right, well, he's bigger than you, he just got here, he's gonna spend more than you. You who worked as much as you did and played as much as you did and did what you did to make him want to come here, now you go to the side. That's not something you want to do, and it causes friction long term. And so what ended up happening here is an unfortunate situation where just two alliances collided. A big alliance that migrated in just didn't care and went wild, and they took the Lost Temple. Reminder, Lost Temple opens up for occupation. It opens up for occupation every now and then, ladies and gentlemen. I believe every week it opens up, or every 5 days or so. Any alliance touching the Lost Temple can at any point take it over. And so if you're allowing a big alliance to come in, they're obviously going to want to have Zone 3 presence, and they're going to try to get themselves near the Lost Temple. And one day you can wake up and your kingdom is not yours anymore. In Kingdom 59, things have been shifting in a very cool way. We still have 3 main alliances, 3 big alliances, and some other alliances that are growing as time goes by. But one of the cool things that ended up happening is that some folks essentially gave up on being in JWM and went to the second alliance in our kingdom, UIW, to build that up. And there is some purchasing happening there as well, and that gift level is doing its thing, and folks are growing there and progressing there. Some big players, we're not talking like 60 million power players, we're talking 90, 100 million power players who spend money, are spending it outside of JWM on a different alliance to build that group up. Noon did the same. Noon, I believe he's not in JWM right now, or hasn't been for a while. He went to BNW, which ended up, I believe they're in the 3rd spot in terms of power nowadays. To be there to kind of support building that alliance, he spends his money there, the gifts go there, the people there get to enjoy it. And so I think that to an extent, and we have some awesome reports of some of these crazy rallies that happen here. I mean, Edward Yisongye, by the way, does very good against Constantine Charles Martel. I would have swapped those two, but it is what it is. With that being said, if you are going to allow groups in, you want to disperse them, smaller groups, into existing alliances so they get to know the locals, they get to spend some money to help the alliances grow, to get the kingdom to grow, and disperse it as much as possible. With Baba coming into JWM, I mean, the spending has gone up. The spending has gone up. And so Noon found himself in a position where he could contribute to the kingdom even further, but by getting out of JWM, he doesn't necessarily need the gold chests that are dropping there. But him being in BNW very much reinforces BNW's growth as he is dropping those gold chests now there. I think that when we talk about migration of groups versus individuals, when we talk about migration overall, it's a peculiar topic because you should be doing it in a way where you're dispersing the power and you're dispersing the players and kind of getting the migrants to mesh into the local scenery rather than be the outsiders that either get rallied on a pass and don't get what they were told. Ooh, those million deads hurt. Oh my goodness. Or you don't really want to get to a point where the new guys have their clique, have their thing. You really want to make sure that the whole kingdom is on one mindset, that is the culture that is established in that kingdom. And you do want to allow the migrants to bring in their own flavor, to enhance the kingdom in ways that they can bring in some things into the kingdom, right? But also, you don't want them to do this. You don't want them to have the capabilities of taking over your kingdom. You don't want them to have the need to take over the kingdom, as really it's their kingdom too. I'm very curious how things worked out in your kingdoms and how you guys handled migrations, how you guys handled affairs with migrators and things like that. As we keep going through some of these very, very strong and fairly devastating rallies, some of them doing massive damage to the Lost Temple, others taking a beating like this one did. Although when you look at the power loss overall, it wasn't that bad compared to the troop amount, but still a fairly painful rally. And it wasn't only the Lost Temple that was getting rallied. It wasn't only the Lost Temple that was getting hit. I mean, cities got hit as well. Lost Temple had a big fight happen in it as well, but cities got hit. I mean, when we go take a quick look in general, like at how the geography looked in this kingdom very quickly, and kind of like went looking around to see what is burning, what isn't burning, what was going on. It was definitely the 621T cities that were getting more rallied. It was definitely them that were getting more aggressed on, but they were the invaders. So I can understand that. Again, I'm curious to know how you guys handle things in your kingdom. I'd appreciate it if you left me a comment down below and let me know. It's funny that one of these dudes was getting rallied, and as he was getting rallied, he healed, or he asked for helps, which got him all these resources that you guys see right there. And I mean, these guys know he's online and they're still rallying him. He still burns, but I mean, the man doesn't even care. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna click help so people send me resources, thank you very much, and I'm gonna just do my thing. The guy next to him getting rallied too. That's a painful Isongye going up against a Minamoto. Power losses on both of these guys, and they both end up burning, I believe. But yeah, they weren't the only ones. The folks, as you can see, of U621 were smiling around and going around here and trying to get as many cities and as many folks hurt as they can, because they were betrayed. They were betrayed by a group that they allowed into their home, and the situation got really bad. What do you guys think about this whole topic? What do you guys think about this whole video? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you very much for all your continuous support. I appreciate every single one of you who has been supporting this channel and continues to support this channel, making my dream come true slowly and steadily. I appreciate you all. Thank you again. See you on stream tomorrow. Take care. Peace.